question. Right here.
Aside from the fan fiction of Sorbo Lexa, I'm wondering if there are any plans or talks for any authorized projects using the characters involved in Andromeda. I would just comic books.
You know, we were talking about, I said the show's been done now longer than we shot it, which is weird. You know, we shot for 5 seasons, and now it's been almost 6 seasons, 6 years since it's been done, which is just so fast. But if Tribune didn't have the problems it had, they certainly would have made some movies of it down the road, I think. I think a big mistake was getting rid of Robert Hewitt Wolf, our original writer and creator. And I mean, Gene Roddenberry was the original creator, but Gene, his ideas were taken from that, and Robert sort of took it from there and put his own stamp on it. But I think it would have been, I think there would have been a bigger and better chance for it to make it to the theaters. Just my opinion.
You gotta get a little closer to the mic.
Sorry, Buffy season 8 just kind of came up this year in comic book form, and there's talks about comics and books from series like Andromeda, and there's still things going on with the original Star Trek. And I know that's a big thing compared to something that I guess nothing come up with the authorized one that you guys heard of. I mean, it's still fan fiction,
Well, I think the Tribune is still in bankruptcy, so they don't know. So I think as long as that's been going on, it's been dragging on for 5, 6 years.
If they're in bankruptcy, would they be more than happy to sell the rights?
I would think so. So I'm sort of following it, what's going on. It's like, I think ultimately, until the whole thing is solved, I think everything they have is just sort of sitting there. They're like, going to actually do something with it, which is a drag. Anyway, but it's still airing in like 50 countries overseas. I mean, I shot a movie in Malta this year, and I shot a movie in Mykonos, and I was in England, and it's still airing. I think it's still on Space Channel up in Canada.
No, it's not Space Channel. It's on like the Mystery Channel.
Is it?
Yeah, no, it's not on Space anymore.
Not anymore?
It's up on the Mystery Channel.
Like Global, Analyze Atlantis, which is competing networks.
And on Showcase too. None of these things make sense to me. I'm like, really, the Mystery Channel. I don't get it.
That's the last 2 seasons.
Do either of you have any funny stories about things that happened on the set where you were filming that?
Funny stories. Oh, okay. I can't say it without laughing. There was the fan. Who remembers the fan? They were this race of insect creatures.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And the costumes were brutal. They were brutal because of this helmet type thing, and nobody could see through them. So this poor girl who was playing a fan, and we were doing a scene in I think it was Dylan's office, but it was hilarious because this poor girl has to run in and basically yell at Kevin because she's a fan general, right? And then turn around and march out of the room like she's pissed off. She can't see. So they said, just walk toward the light. And on the other side of the doorway are wall sconces. So all she sees are the wall sconces. And Kevin and I are standing there. This is great outtake. Kevin and I are standing there because all you see is she gets pissed off, she walks, and we hear boom into the wall.
She just lost it.
And then behind me, you see this poor girl. Because it's just picture the frame like this. This poor girl went boom.
And Lexa just loses it, and then she realizes, she goes, wait, are you all right? That was pretty funny. There's a lot of funny things happen, especially in rehearsal. You know, we were pretty loose rehearsals.
Oh, well,
and with Gordon, too.
That episode that Liam Peoples did, where the wall fell on my head.
Yes.
Oh!
That's right. I remember that. Actually, I remember certain episodes like that because we got to actually shoot outside, which we really did. We went outside a couple times, which was fun. But there's all, there was a lot of jokes on the set. There's no question. With Gordon Wolbert, Steve Basic. I mean, Steve's about as serious as.
Was it Gordon or was it Steve that brought somebody brought in this massive, nobody told Kevin about it, but there's a stand-up of Hercules. So he was running onto the command deck, and there's Hercules.
And there was a scene also, I brought up the other day too, this scene where I believe it was Lisa and Steve in the scene with me and the Magaga taking over, and there was an extra panel in my office, and somebody put in a Hercules waving a sword in there. And then right after that, somebody put a large dildo in there. And the crew started laughing.
Do you remember that war that was going on between Al
I know.
Harmon and Stevie Wardrobe?
That was the dildo they put in there. And I pulled out the dildo, and without breaking character, I looked at Lisa and Steve, and I said, "It's a long story, but I limped for a week."
There were some great, like a lot of the funny stories that we have actually involved the crew. We had an amazing crew, and
The wall of
they had
lines.
napkin wall. Because what happened is there would sometimes be these hilarious things that only make sense in the context of the set. And when you take them out of that context, these lines make no sense. They're hilarious. Like, for example, my favorite one was Lisa saying, I'm an actor, I can't just pretend. The director came in and said, like, no, we'll just pretend this. And she's like, I'm an actor, I can't just pretend. And so this started a thing with the camera department. There were a bunch of really, really witty guys who would want to write these things down. And because craft service, which is where our snacks were, was just offset, they'd go, quick, get a napkin. So they had a wall in the camera.
Within the 5 seasons,
covered with napkins and these quotes that came from the actors that were just absolutely hilarious.
One was from our tier.
Yeah.
Keep Hamilton Crowley says, I like the episode the best when they're about me.
Oh, yeah.
And there was a director, Michael Robeson, that came up to Lexa and she had a hair to place.
He went to lick my head.
Oh.
Which on so many levels, like I know you all are going, ooh, that's gross, but on so many levels in terms of set etiquette, that's the hair department. So it's just offensive on so many levels, and I literally did this. He said, well, you've got hair, and I'm like, don't touch that with your saliva.
Yeah.
But no, that was it. But there was, again, involving the story that Kevin's telling with the dildo, there was a war that happened to be going on between Al Harmon, one of our first ABs, and Steve, who was our wardrobe guy. And I don't know what started the war.
Well, it started with Al Harmon putting on, because he's very proud.
Oh, yeah.
Steve is very proud. He's straight, but he's very, very
Fashion.
fashion.
He loves fashion.
And he drives around his Porsche, and Al Harmon put a license plate, personal license plate on both sides saying, I'm gay, on his Porsche.
Oh.
And he drove around for 3 days and didn't realize. People took it out.
No.
Silly stuff, so he got back with.
With this dildo that he had the props department custom make into a weapon.
It was the Faginator Bums. I can't
Faginator. No, was that it?
Something like that.
Something like that. It was something that Gord made up in terms of the name. It was absolutely hilarious. And then put it in a frame, on a shadow box frame on the wall in Dylan's office, so that when Al came in to have to shoot it, yeah, it was pretty fun. But anyway, it was this war that just kept going on and on and on that the rest of us got dragged into. It was pretty fun.
There were a lot of things on that set, honestly. There were a lot. We did one, there was a take where we're supposed to all be coming out of this. We walk into this room, it looks like an outhouse. We're next to this sulfur plant. And you walk in and it just ends up being this huge thing with a big universe hologram floating around and stuff. And we did a scene where we all kind of planned it ahead of time, but everybody walks out and they're going like this, and I come out last with the newspaper zipping in my pants. We did stuff. We had that fun.
I see a question.
Mine's rather clean at this point, but anyway. Speaking back to the dealing with the technical writing, I teach science to a lot of non-science majors, and they're always like, oh my god, it works. So my question is, how do you deal with all the terms, the technical terms?
The technical terms? Phonetically. That's how I deal with it. But the funny thing is my brother, who I love dearly, is a software engineer and a huge sci-fi fan, and has been one since I was a kid. So oddly enough, some of the terms or some of the ideas that seem a bit out there, he actually can explain the science to me, so periodically I'd be calling him up and saying, you have to explain this to me. And when I have a better understanding of what the science is behind it, it's actually easier to say it. I know that sounds really odd. The best one was, though, there was a, I don't know if I ever told you this, do you remember Bob Engels kept writing the dark, what was it, dark forces? There was something about dark forces in the last seasons, and I just remember saying, that's dumb. Like, can't you come up with something that sounds a little bit meaner, something that sounds a little bit brutaler, something that says like other dark forces? Until I talked to my brother. This is an actual scientific term. It comes in line with like dark matter or something like that. It's true. And I'm like, wow, I'm a jerk. I'm a jerk, I'm sorry. But there were a couple of times when that happened. And that, especially the, I think it was in the second season when we were, I can't remember the name of the episode. I'm so bad with this stuff. But we were fighting the, another ship. I think it was the Restorians. We were fighting another ship and never saw them. That's actually how space battles would happen. Yeah, because you wouldn't see them. Think about it. Why would you see them? If they got that close, you're toast.
I need a good visual.
I know. Just like, you know, when things go boom, you see fire. This is what happens. Yes?
Hi. I really loved when we did a guest star on the site, and that's what I did. I was wondering if there are any other shows you would like to guest star on?
Who, me? Oh, I'm doing Smallville in a couple of weeks. Playing another doctor.
Oh!
And apparently I have a
Who keep playing priests? Or pastors. It's very interesting. I really like to act, don't I?
touch that with a 10-foot pole. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. It's too easy.
But I'm leaving for Hawaii. On Monday, I'm shooting a guest spot on Hawaii 5-0.
Oh!
And then I got back to Lexa's country in Canada, in Toronto. I'm shooting a Hallmark movie up there with Robert Vaughn directing me.
Whoa!
Hey, I just remember this. You remember Grace Park?
Yeah, I'm going to work with her.
Oh, good.
I've got my
Tell
scenes are with her. Most of them are with her. Yeah, I will say hello. She's a good girl.
Cool.
Nice girl.
Well, you remember she worked on her.
She did. She came in. Most of her stuff was Gordon that episode.
And me.
There was, yeah.
And Gord.
It was on that.
And Gord was in his glory.
But yeah, and it's a Hallmark movie called It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas, which is it's a nice little Hallmark. And then just give you a quick. Then I'm going to Louisville, Kentucky. I'm shooting a comedy. And then I go to Salt Lake City to shoot a movie with John Doig, a Sony movie. It's a pretty big movie. It's pretty cool. So,
Cool.
Not that much. And there's whatever it is. Anyway, question out there?